أعوذ بالله بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا مزيدا وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We thank Allah for bringing us back to the book USMAN Danfodio, the great reformer of West Africa. Today's subheading is titled Danfodio's Teachers. USMAN Danfodio was privileged to have studied under the finest scholars of his time. Notable among them were Sheikh Abdurrahman bin Hamd, Sheikh Ahmad bin Muhammad Amin bin Hashim al-Zanfari, and Sheikh Muhammad Raji. However, he appeared to have been deeply influenced by two of them, Sheikh Muhammad Sambo and Sheikh Jibril bin Umar. Muhammad Sambo was an uncle of Usman. He was a great scholar who had traveled far and wide in search of knowledge. Being a family member, Sheikh Danfodio was able to attach himself to him, and the two became constant companions, whom only night sleep separated. Sheikh Usman was highly influenced by Muhammad Sambo. Usman benefited greatly from his knowledge, despite the short time they were together. Muhammad Sambo died in the year 1207 years after Hijrah. The second scholar who greatly influenced Danfodio was Sheikh Jibril bin Umar, a native of Agadez, now in Niger Republic. Jibril bin Umar's ancestors were originally from Maghreb, North Africa, who migrated and settled in Western Sudan. Bin Umar was a venerable or inspiring sage who dedicated his life to the propagation of Islam. He suffered persecution by local rulers who were opposed to his activities and his method of preaching. This made him be constantly on the move. He would often visit Gobir, where he found students who were eager to learn. Jibril bin Umar performed pilgrimage twice. He stayed in the two holy cities of Mecca and Medina and studied under local scholars as well as those who visited as pilgrims. From his stay in the Holy Land, Jibril bin Umar must have been influenced by the ongoing reform in Arabia led by the famous revivalist Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab. In turn, Danfodio too must have been influenced through his teacher. There is no doubt that Usman Danfodio looked up to bin Umar with respect and reverence. He regarded him as one of his greatest teachers. He said about him, as reported by his brother Abdullahi, "If any praise is said of me out of reverence, it should be known that I am but a drop in Jibril's ocean." Usman Danfodio adopted his teacher's views and legal opinions, some of which were rejected by many of his contemporary scholars as controversial. He even wrote a book especially to explain those views and legal opinions which others considered obscure and controversial. The book was titled Shifa al-Alil Fima Ashkala min Kalami Sheikhina Jibril. The book sought to explain and support those opinions of Sheikh Jibril which were advanced for their time and therefore were found to be strange, repugnant, or unacceptable. Such views were often the source of friction between the local rulers and the ulama on the one hand, and Jibril bin Umar with his radical reform-minded students on the other. It can be said with some justification that Jibril bin Umar was the one who initiated USMAN Danfodio into revivalism and reform activities. Bin Umar wanted to bring change among Muslims in Western Sudan through a revolution against innovations and superstitions in religion. But after a lifetime struggle, he did not succeed in bringing about the revolution himself. But he saw in Sheikh Uthman a continuation of his lifelong work and ambition. So he took it upon himself to mentor him. Whenever he was in Gobir, Uthman and his senior students from neighboring towns and villages will converge on the stage to listen to his lectures. After coming back from his second pilgrimage, Jibril bin Umar found Danfodio's movement blossoming and was very impressed by the progress his student had made. So he gave Shehu a flag in a symbolic gesture, signaling his support and blessing for the movement. History books do not furnish us with such details about Jibril bin Umar as when and where he was born or the date of his death. But they tell us much about his life and was full of positive work, struggle for truth and justice, and perseverance in the face of difficulties, persecution and hardship. May Allah have mercy on his soul. Amen.